Anybody who has played pool, even for a short time, knows the difference between a good hit and a miscue. Here are examples of good hits with both a carbon fiber shaft and a maple shaft. Notice the sounds of the hits and the direction the cue ball heads. Listen again to the sounds. A good shot sounds normal, and the cue ball goes in the expected direction, close to where the cue is pointing. Here are similar shot attempts that are miscues instead. Did you hear the difference? And did you see how far offline the cue ball went from the expected direction? A miscue has a very distinctive sound, and the cue ball goes offline. A miscue occurs when you don't chalk the tip properly or if you hit too far off-center on the cue ball. This illustration shows what the miscue limit is for a chalked tip. The contact point can be about half the ball's radius from the center. The width of a standard striped ball can be used to help visualize this limit. With a normal shot, the cue tip grabs the cue ball and does not slip at all. But with a miscue, the tip fails to grab the cue ball and slides off. And as we will see, miscues always involve sliding tip motion, and there is always secondary contact with the tip, ferrule, or shaft. The cue vibration resulting from the sliding contact and secondary hits is what creates the distinctive sound you hear during a miscue shot. Under the current WPA official rules of pool, you are not allowed to prolong tip contact or hit the cue ball more than once. However, miscues are currently allowed unless there is direct or indirect evidence of secondary contact or if the miscue is intentional to achieve some advantage. Many examples of normal and intentional miscue files can be found on the miscue resource page linked in the video description. Do you think the rules should be changed and simplified so all miscues are considered fouls, whether they are intentional or not? Think about this question as you watch the rest of the video. Recently, I asked Pubo Huang to film a variety of miscue shots with his fancy high-speed camera. Pubo is the same guy who filmed lots of cool stuff with me and Venom in Vegas recently. If you haven't seen those videos yet, a link to a playlist can be found in the video description. Pubo recorded a large number of shots over a wide range of tip offsets and shot speeds. The first set of videos are sidespin shots with no chalk on the tip, so a miscue was almost guaranteed with any off-center hit. Notice the secondary contact with the tip and ferrule during these shots. Here's one in super slow motion as an example. Notice the sliding contact between the tip and cue ball. During this sliding, the cue vibration causes the tip to hit the ball multiple times. The last two hits are very clear, with the final hit resulting in more sliding motion on the side of the tip and ferrule. Here are some follow shot examples. Because the cue ball is trapped between the cue and the table with topspin shots, secondary contact is even more likely than with sidespin shots, where the cue ball deflects out of the way slightly. Again, here's one of the shots in super slow motion. During this shot, the tip hit the cue ball 5 times. Here are some draw shot examples. Because the cue tip is driven down into the table, even more secondary contacts can occur, and the cue ball can be scooped up into the air. During this shot, the tip hits the cue ball 4 times and has prolonged sliding contact twice, with the cue ball being scooped up. The remainder of the clips are with a chalked tip. Again, with a clean hit, the cue ball separates from the tip almost immediately and there is no sliding contact or secondary hits. Here are some sidespin miscues with secondary contact and errant cue ball direction. During this shot, the tip hits the cue ball at least twice, with the ferrule also slapping the cue ball. Here are some highly elevated miscue examples from one of my Venom videos and from a Russian YouTube channel linked in the video description. These miscues involve sliding contact and secondary hits. Here are some more Russian examples. Again, there is sliding contact and secondary hits. Many more examples of miscues can be found on the miscue resource page. Every single miscue I have ever seen in super slow motion involves a sliding tip and secondary hits. So, should the rules be changed to make all miscues fouls, whether or not they are intentional, rewarding the opponent with ball in hand? Obviously, if a change were made, the new rule would need to be worded carefully so a foul would be called only if the distinctive sound of the hit and the errant motion of the cue ball clearly indicated a miscue. Possible pros for making miscues fouls include: miscues involve sliding tip contact and secondary hits, and these things violate the foundational rules of pool. There would no longer be a need to judge player intent, which can be problematic because it is not always easy to know what a player was thinking during a shot. This would also simplify the rules and how they are applied. It would prevent somebody from getting lucky with a bad leave for the opponent after a miscue. A miscue is a very bad shot that should not be rewarded. Scoop shots, most of which are miscues, would also be prohibited, whether or not they are intentional. And per the info and demonstrations at the link in the video description, it is probably best to prohibit any scoop shots. Possible cons for making miscues fouls include: sometimes a miscue can be late or partial, where the hit sounds only a little odd and the cue ball does not quite go in the expected direction with the expected amount of spin. But this type of shot is very rare, and only an obvious miscue would be called a foul, as evidenced by the distinctive sound and grossly errant cue ball motion. Regardless, some people might still argue whether or not a shot is a miscue, but this is the case with most foul shot calls in pool, including double hits, push shots, and near split hits. Often, a miscue is enough of a penalty, usually resulting in a missed shot or some other foul. Miscues have been allowed for a very long time, except when intentional, and in any sport or game with a long history, rules should not be changed unless there are very compelling reasons to do so. But now that we know from super slow motion video that all obvious miscues involve sliding tip contact and secondary hits, maybe it is time for the change. Miscues are not currently penalized as fouls in any other cue sport, so a change in pool would create an inconsistency which should be avoided when possible. If it is not obvious already, I personally believe the rules should be changed to make every miscue a foul. What do you think? Please leave a comment with your opinion and let's start a discussion. And good luck with your game from Dr. Dave.